Hello, sisters and brothers. Our devotional for today, for May 28, is a reflection on My Utmost for His Highest, a series of devotionals written and compiled by Oswald Chambers. You can always find the link for the daily devotional at utmost.org. And today's devotional is titled Unquestioned Revelation, and the text that Chambers uses for this one, it comes from John chapter 16. So this is right before Jesus is spending his time in prayer, praying for himself, his disciples, and for all the believers. And these are some of his final instructions to his disciples before that. So I will begin at verse 22 of John 16. So with you, now is your time of grief, but I will see you again, and you will rejoice, and no one will take away your joy. In that day you will no longer ask me anything. Very truly I tell you, my Father will give you whatever you ask in my name. Until now you have not asked for anything in my name. Ask and you will receive, and your joy will be complete. As I mentioned, the devotional is titled Unquestioned Revelation, looking at part of verse 23, where Jesus said, In that day you will ask me nothing. When is that day? It is when the ascended Lord makes you one with the Father. In that day you will be one with the Father, just as Jesus is, and he said, In that day you will ask me nothing. Until the resurrection life of Jesus is fully exhibited in you, you have questions about many things. Then, after a while, you find that all your questions are gone. You don't seem to have any left to ask. You have come to the point of total reliance on the resurrection life of Jesus, which brings you into complete oneness with the purpose of God. Are you living that life now? If not, why aren't you? In that day there may be any number of things still hidden to your understanding, but they will not come between your heart and God. In that day you will ask me nothing. You will not need to ask, because you will be certain that God will reveal things in accordance with his will. The faith and peace of John 14, verse 1 has become the real attitude of your hearts, and there are no more questions to be asked. If anything is a mystery to you and is coming between you and God, never look for the explanation in your mind, but look for it in your spirit, your true inner nature. That is where the problem is. Once your inner spiritual nature is willing to submit to the life of Jesus, your understanding will be perfectly clear, and you will come to the place where there is no distance between the Father and you, his child, because the Lord has made you one. In that day, you will ask me nothing. Chambers has hinted at this before and talked about how the more that we submit to the Spirit's desires in our life, the more that we lose our questions, the more that we trust what God is doing. And that's what we have here in Jesus' instructions to his disciples. He points forward to a day where they will be one with the Father, just as he was one with the Father. And Jesus didn't need for that to come after his life and death and resurrection. He lived his life as one with the Father. And that is what we are called to do as well, to pay attention to what God is speaking to the Spirit within us so that we can walk in accordance with that will. It becomes a little uncomfortable at first, and Chambers hints at one of the difficulties there. It's the difference between what questions we have in our mind and what questions we have in our spirit. And we need to make sure that we take time to quiet ourselves in order to truly understand and listen and be responsive to the Spirit. Because if you're anything like me, we can live with questions in our head all day long. And in our own human understanding, we'll never make sense of what God is really doing. But when we submit our spirit to the Spirit and the will of God, that's where we no longer need to ask anything, because God is making it perfectly clear. Hope this finds you encouraged. Thank you as always for listening. Be safe, and stay well.